Are the Cleveland Browns a Super Bowl contender? Now, we are coming off the heels of a very impressive playoff win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. As you can see right here, they put up 48 total points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They started the game 28 to nothing against the Steelers. This is a team that was 12-4, home field advantage. The first time they played them with their starters, 38 to 7. The Browns could not do anything. So what changed this time? What really changed for the Browns this time? The Browns offense of Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones. This offense exploded tonight. Baker Mayfield threw for 263 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nick Chubb ran for 76 yards. He caught 69 yards worth of passes. He had a receiving touchdown to go along with it. Kareem Hunt, 48 rush yards, 2 touchdowns, along with 13 through the air. Jarvis Landry went for 5 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Rashard Higgins only had 28 yards. Austin Hooper went for 46 yards and a touchdown. This offense played really well tonight. And on the other side, the Steelers, they started off really poor. Throughout the game, Ben Roethlisberger threw 4 interceptions. Now, this might seem like it could just be Ben Roethlisberger. This Browns defense played really good to start the game. Throughout the game, obviously, things went a little downhill. See, they gave up 37 total points, with 27 of them being in the second half. So what really changed there as well? The Browns they kind of took their foot off the pedal defensively, right? They played really hard. They got off to a massive lead. Again, 35-0. This was a massive game for the Browns. So why are we making this video? Why are we talking about them being possible Super Bowl contenders, you may ask? Because up next, they play the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are already put into Vegas as 10-point favorites at home. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, even Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This is a stacked offense, right? So why do I think that the Browns could possibly give the Chiefs a challenge, a run for their money? They could even beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs have really been unimpressive the last few weeks. Going on, Falcons. They beat the Falcons 17-14 off of a missed field goal. Against the Denver Broncos, 22-16 against a team that finished terribly. So, in these games, the Chiefs' offense was so stagnant. That is something that they cannot do against the Browns, because the Browns can put up points. We know that. What else about the Browns do we know? We know their defense can get after them. Start again, 4 interceptions against Ben Roethlisberger. This is a huge thing for Patrick Mahomes. He cannot turn the ball over. And it doesn't look like he does much. Patrick Mahomes had 16, yes, 16 interceptable passes that were not intercepted. I believe 11 of those were drops. So, how are the Browns going to score, though, is another good question. As you can see, the Falcons and Broncos put up a combined 30 points. Why do I think the Browns can put up enough to beat the Chiefs if it comes to a shootout? Baker Mayfield has been playing lights out lately. Again, the performance tonight was incredible. 263 and 3 touchdowns. The best part? No turnovers. He did not turn the ball over once. Last week against Pittsburgh, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, right? Not the best game. But we can always keep looking back. The Baltimore game, they lost in a shootout. Mayfield threw for 343 and 2 touchdowns. He did have an interception, but he also scored a rushing touchdown. They put up 42 points in that game. Their defense ultimately let them down in the rushing department. But are the Chiefs really a rushing team? The Chiefs air the ball out. And as we go back, right? The Chiefs' offense is so strong. Travis Kelce is a top 2 tight end in football. You could even make the argument he's the best. I personally think it's George Kittle, but Travis Kelce is a very good tight end. Tyreek Hill, this is probably the fastest player in football. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, again, Chiefs don't run the ball much, but he is their featured back, and he has to be respected. So, what if the Browns are able to shut down Travis Kelce? They still have to deal with Tyreek Hill. An important piece of injury news is that Denzel Ward, who tested positive last week, who was unable to play tonight, is going to more than likely be back next week. Kevin Stefanski, head coach for the Browns, more than likely will be back next week. These are two huge pieces for the Browns in my opinion. Even though they did well tonight, I think Kevin Stefanski can really help elevate the Browns and keep them playing at a level that they played at tonight. Now, how are the Browns exactly going to score on the Chiefs is another question that could be asked, right? The Chiefs' worst part of their defense is against tight ends and running backs. They are relatively good against wide receivers. So if you want to just assume that the passing game will be ineffective, those two running backs that I have on the screen, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, that is the best running back duo in football. They should have a monster outing next week. We're talking the Chiefs, who give up on average 100 rushing yards a game. Over 100 rushing yards a game against opposing running backs. The likes of David Johnson. Dave Johnson, who really was not great the most of this year. 90 yards and a touchdown week 1. And you can just keep going on and on if you really wanted to. I think that not only with that running game, I think the Browns do something really well that a lot of teams should be trying to do themselves. Play action passes. The Browns in play action are one of the most elite teams. It's all started from Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield arguably has one of the best quarterback handoff sells of all time. It also helps that Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb are back there, but it's also proven that running backs really do not affect how effective play action is. You can even look at Tennessee. Tennessee could completely do play actions all they wanted without Derrick Henry having a single carry, if we're being honest. Another reason that they could beat them in the air through play action is because they have really strong receiving core. Even though Jarvis Landry is the alpha, and a lot of people might not be sure if he can be the alpha of the offense, Rashard Higgins has filled in a nice role for his Cleveland Browns team. Baltimore game, we'll reference that game again. 68 yards and a touchdown. He can be a solid number 2. If the Browns need to go tight end heavy, not only do they have Austin Hooper, they have Harrison Bryant and David Njoku, who are both starting caliber tight ends in the league. Even Donovan Peoples-Jones, he might not be the best receiver, right? He might not stuff the stat sheet like other players might, but he can be a nice deep threat if necessary. Game against Tennessee, 3 targets, I should say. Only 2 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown with a long of 75 yards. Him stretching the field helps this offense a lot. Not to mention the offensive line. The offensive line is one of the best in football. They are graded top 5 by Football Outsiders in run offensive line DVOA. That is very impressive. Granted, they have lost some players, right? Jack Conklin got hurt tonight. Joe Bitonio, we don't know if he will play next week or not. Those are pretty important players to the offensive line. However, I think the Browns will do a fine job at holding up. They did tonight. Who says they can't do it again next week? Now, if we go past the Chiefs game, they have one more game to play to get to the Super Bowl. And that will be against one of the following: Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens and Buffalo Bills are two polar opposite teams. One team thrives on putting the ball on the ground and running until they can't run anymore, which is the Baltimore Ravens. They provide a very good defense. However, the Browns put up 42 points the last time those teams played. So who says they can't beat the Ravens? They might have lost that game, right? But who says they can't beat them? If they're putting up 42 points, they have a good shot. They just need the defense to turn it around there. And if they can do what they did tonight against Ben Roethlisberger, getting 4 interceptions, whether it's 4 interceptions again, whether it's 2 interceptions and 2 fumble force, it could be anything, right? And then you get the Buffalo Bills. This is a team that airs the ball out to their number one receiver most of the time, Stephon Diggs. They do spread the ball around a little bit, but Stephon Diggs is the guy to stop. And like I mentioned before, against the Kansas City Chiefs, Denzel Ward will be back. Denzel Ward is a very good cornerback. He can easily help this offense get the ball back. He can shut down Stephon Diggs. Maybe not to the full extent, but we're probably going to say in the range of maybe 6 catches for 60 yards. That is a very impressive game, if I say so myself. And just like that, they could make the Super Bowl. Do not count this team out. This team is a very good team, and they came to play tonight. Who says they won't come to play next week and shock the world by beating the Kansas City Chiefs? Thank you for watching this video. Follow me on social media, like, subscribe.